what Rav Tzadok will start with. So Rav Tzadok discusses this idea, the contrast between the Mitzrayim, the Egyptians, and the Jewish people. He said the Mitzrayim, their getchka, right, their idolatry was sheep. Why was it sheep? So sheep in antiquity meant wealth, first of all. Like the Ramah points out, it means the wealth. It was the wealth. The wealthier you are, the more sheep you had, the wealthier you were. So that was the big, the bastion of wealth. But it's not only that. Really, the sheep they worshipped the sheep because part of that was, the Tzadok says that they wanted to be in charge of all these different inyanim and bechinas. They wanted to get like heavenly, astrological, different planetary bodies, different kishuf things that they thought were real, different sorcery, whatever they thought, whatever they felt, they wanted to be in charge of that. So they had this, the sheep by them. They put the sheep by them. The sheep is by me. And I'm going to be in charge. I'll do this and that will cause this. I'll do that and that will cause that. That was their way of being. That was what they were trying to do. And the Jewish people were the exact opposite. Totally opposite. The Jewish people, we were supposed to write lachem, right? This is your month. The beginning of the month is yours. This aspect, you take it, it becomes part of you. Like that we have to learn that we're like the Yom Tov is called Mikra Kodesh. We have to call the Yom Tov to us, to work to bring the Yom Tov into us. It's something it's an avoda. It's not just something that's static. Some Chal also says there's a repeat spiritually of what happened in each time of each event. Pesach, there's a Bechin of Yitzchak happening. Right? Shavuos, something happens like there's a Bechin of Matan Torah. There's different aspects. These things happen again every year, and you have the ability to bring another facet into reality, actualize more potential. Right? That's what the Chidah says. 70 years. This is what many other places. 70 years of a human being is 70 fasts of Torah, and you have to nullify 70 nations. So the Chidah is like, no, and if you live longer, he said, really, those 70 years are that's the main bastion of who you are. Usually, Rav Akiva did Tshuva at 40, and he got the highest places. Rav Nissim Gaon says there was no Neshama like Rav Akiva, nobody like him. You just start again, totally fresh. I don't know, he went to Cheder, who knows what he did. Either he did or he didn't. The different, he did go to, he did learn and he stopped. He said he went back to learning. He says, you see, he did go, as the Nuss and others say maybe, not so clear, but one way or the other way, to totally start fresh at 40, being Amoritz, and like just go for it, just get the highest places so quickly. He was like not a normal neshama. Usually at 40, it's hard to already retain. It's hard, it's hard. It's not the same. You're not in the same place anymore. After 40, you already have a deeper mind. Retention is easier earlier. That's if I was talking to someone, he said, I'm trying to learn English. I don't know. I learned a lot of languages, and I'm already, I don't know every word. I have to make a simon and work hard to remember. It used to be automatic. Like, yeah, you're at a different stage of life now. You're over 50. You're over there. Of course, you're not going to remember like when you were 30. What do you think? You're going to remember the same way? Of course not. You have to use your kochos according to who you are, according to your age, and according to what you are. So we need to take the month, take the kedusha, and bring it into our house. Take away the people. Like what exact opposite mitzvah? The mitzvah they want to have shlita on the world. I want to have mastery of the world, and that's what it's about. It's not about anything spiritual. It's about physical thing. And really, that's not true. The truth is that the main struggle, the main thing of where we are, what we are, is spiritual, not physical. And it's something that's built in us. It's built into us. They did a study recently. Someone sent me this study that. In England, they did a study that they checked. They asked the person who says, I am an atheist. They said, okay, do you ever pray? When you're having a hard time, do you pray or not? You had like something terrible happen. It was so hard. Do you pray for solace or you don't never pray? And a quarter of these people admitted, yeah, when it's hard I pray. I don't know, it makes me feel better. I don't know what it is. So it's something that's built in a human being, like Rav Nachman says, and Rav Destro says, and many, many other places. Idea. It's built in that we turn to something higher. At least at difficult times, at least that's just something that's part of who we are. So denying Emunah is like denying, like, I don't have a sense of humor. Okay, I'm sorry, you do. You can pretend you don't. You can be a stoic. You can say it. You can work on not expressing your sense of humor, but you got it in there. You're human. You have a sense of humor. You're not a computer. A machine might not have a sense of humor. It depends how you programmed it today. Perhaps today they're trying to work. Maybe they do have. I don't know. But you have a sense of humor. You're a human being. You have the propensity to get angry. The Medrash Shmuel says a person who says I never get angry, he says he's not a well person. Usually, unless maybe big tzaddik, a person who worked his whole life, maybe. But a person, every person has the propensity to get angry. That's part of being a human being. You're not supposed to act on it. You're not supposed to go with those thoughts. I will see it a little bit maybe. But the Maisa, every person, we all have to bring it into who we are. He says that's the idea of taking the Azov, right? Taking a Gudas Azov, which is 3, right? And you put on the 2 mashkofim, the two sides, the lintels, and the top of the doorway. So he says this is the bechina of breaking the aspect of what in the world was Mitzrayim, the opposite. What's Mitzrayim? Mitzrayim was about kina, taiva, and kavod. He said from the beginning, Chava messed up in 2 out of 3. What are the 2 out of 3 things that Chava blew it with, and Rishon too? He said it was kina and it was taiva. He said first seeing the tree is taiva, right? Nechman Amara, listen, it's very clearly taiva. He said then she's like giving it to Adam because she's afraid. Rashi says she's afraid she'll die and he won't die. It won't be good. She'll marry someone else. He'll marry someone else. It won't be good. So that's the bechina. It's called kina. And then comes covered. At that point, there was no cover. When such a gilui of Kvod Shamayim, we have so much clear understanding. The world is so clear about that everything's the honor of Hashem. So obviously, what covered? When she dropped, everything dropped to pieces, fell to pieces because they ate from the fruit. So then it already, you have to deal with kina, taiva, and covered. And it's very not simple to change these around and use them for good. He says you have to learn how to use them for positivity. He said that's why he says that Rochel was Makana, her sister. Rochel had jealousy. She had good jealousy, right? Kina sof and taiva chachma. You have to have the bechina of kina that you want to also be zochah. You don't want to take the other person down. Yeah, if you didn't have $1 million, then I wouldn't feel like I'm a loser because I don't have $1 million like my dear friend, my contemporary. No, I also want $1 million. I don't care if you. And we're talking about in spiritual things as well. Like I can want your car, but spiritual things I can get also. I don't have to have your thing. I can have my thing. So that's a very, very important thing. That's the bechina of what Rochel was. And Leah, obviously, Leah went out to Yaakov. She wanted to have Jewish children with him. She wanted to have the shvatim with him. So that was bechina of taiva that was picked up for kedusha. Those are the two bechinas, 2 inyanim. That's what the Emos did. So the inyan is that we have to learn how to be zocha to overcome these aspects. He said doing the right side, right? You have the bechina of the right side, putting the blood of the korban pesach on the right side. That's the bechina of nullifying. I want to nullify the taiva, right? Putting on the left side, I want to nullify the jealousy, right? And putting on the top is covered. So I want to get rid of all of these different bechinas. Covered is supposed to be Kvod Shamayim, not for you. So that's what Rav Tzadok explains. He said that's his inyan. Again, and the blood is the blood that you use. He said this bechin of the blood. That's a nefesh, a blood of a sacrifice. It's a nefesh. That's the lowest level of the soul. That's the hardest part of the person to fix. That's the part of the person that's very, very, very confused. That's why you talk to people and they're like, I remember speaking to someone on a Shabbos table once years ago. This guy's a doctor or whatever. He was working very much with Palestinians and very, very positive attitude towards them, whatever. And I understand where he's coming from. He was very disillusioned. He saw a lot of hard things he saw. But we were speaking about, and he was like, I was trying to explain to him, there's it's like you have within yourself a lot of negativity, a lot of stuff that just wants, your goof wants nothing. It only wants tivus. It doesn't want anything else. It just wants nuts. You have this physical part of you. You're half animal. So when you expose that and give that things, means, philosophies that empower that part of you, so obviously you're going to have a very strong ulterior motive to go with it, true or not true. You don't really care. We don't care if it's true. I don't care if it's true. That's the gross. The Goyen says, he says a person wants to eat the Sudas Mitzvah. He says if you eat Sudas Mitzvah, sometimes that can take you to really bad places. Malka, and then suddenly you have another more like, what are you eating? What happened to your mitzvah? It didn't start out with a mitzvah. It started with good motivation, but there was also ulterior motive. That part of you takes over, and you just went to town. I had this and more, this and this, and like, what's going to be? A person has trouble with the food. It's the food. Things are other things. So there's no surprise, like such a surprise. Whoa! It's such a shocker. Oh my gosh! Really? He went off. Well, what does that mean? It means he's got half of him as a behema, and the behema wants what the behema wants. So you give the behema, you let the behema out of the kennel. You give it rulership mastery. So you don't have it, but still, lemaitza, you have a problem. Like you're obviously going to be drawn after what the behema wants, no matter what. That's why the Zohar next week it says sus v'rochvo by Paro. The Zohar says sus v'rochvo by Mitzrayim, by the Egyptians. The horse comes first. The main thing is the horse. The rest of it, the main thing is the horse. The physicality. Sus especially is licentiousness, things like that are overcoming, overdoing it, those sorts of things. That's what you want. Then the rochvo, then the rider. The rider is supposed to be first, not the sus. Your body's not supposed to. be calling the shots. It's your soul. And again, it's very important. And I had this discussion like that. I was talking this the other day with someone. It's like, he's like, who did all these Nobel prizes? It's people who weren't even necessarily religious. Most of them weren't religious. They were Jews, but it was Jewish accomplishment. So I was like, my friend, most of these people they're no longer have Jewish descendants. Is that important? Judaism, and by the way, those descendants are no longer producing those special neshamas who are making Nobel prizes. Totally not. They're regular Jewish people. That's what we have this call. You have this expression of a tel lachem. You have this expression of this nefesh elokei. That's a fire. The Maral says something. The fire goes the wrong way. Yeah, it can be even a great criminal. He's used his Jewish spark to go the wrong way. Yeah, he's misapplying it now, unfortunately. But bottom line is, he's got this fire. He's going to push them. Something's going to push them to make the biggest discoveries. Other people's going to push them to who knows what, to help people a lot. Other people's going to push them to get involved in the social causes. Other people's going to push them to give a lot of charity. Like whatever it may be, to learn, to ascend. So this is just part of who we are. It's part of being the Am Hashem. He says that's not Am Hashem. That's who we are. That's where we are. So that's the first thing to be aware of. We have to have a chorish lachem. We all have to work to make it. It's the same thing with Shabbos also. Shabbos, even though Hashem makes Shabbos, as Mekadosh Shabbos, it's also called Mikra Kodesh because we have to also call the Moshe of Shabbos with it. Where we work for it, more we work on it, more we'll have it, the more we'll feel it. He says that's why they had to stay in the house. He said they have to stay in the house because it's like a Bechina of Shabbos, because it's basic, but you can't go out where there's a plague going on and people were not necessarily holding. It's one of the things he said. He said another very beautiful thing. It's probably over 15 minutes. I don't know how I'm going to post it, but he said, I'm sorry, I didn't have it. Should have kept the trend.
11 and a half.
Huh?
11 and a half.
Oh, wow. Great. Amazing. So we can post it. So I'm not even checked. So the bottom line is, there's another point also he makes, which is very, very, very wondrous and very powerful. He says that the Maisa, the Indian of what it means to be a Jew. He said a Jew has intrinsic kedusha. He said, Yehuda was this concept of a Jew having intrinsic kedusha. That's another thing he makes. This kind of being motivated. This is who you really are. Your real self is you are neshama tahora. You want good things. That's who you really are. He said the rest of it is not so shy. That's why a person who sins and whatever he does, he remains a Yisrael. You can't get rid of that. It doesn't really go away from him. What we do, how we do, when we do is a different question. But like bottom line is, a Jew he stays a Jew. You can never ever get rid of that spark. And when the person is working very hard to eradicate that part of him, he wants to destroy that part of it. It's a Jew. He said he can't do it. He can't do it. When he gets almost there, he dies. The part of it that's a Jew is eternal connection to Hashem. We have this tremendously amazing connection. This tremendously amazing connection to Hashem. And that's really, again, what Pesach was about. Like we were saying before, the Rochel of Lublin says, the first day of this week, Bo represents the first days of Pesach. So the first day he can access the kedusha of the first day of Pesach, leaving Mitzrayim, getting out of all the things that are difficult for him. To move a little forward, we change our way of seeing things and try to internalize. Like I want to live with Hashem. I want to leave Mitzrayim. I don't want to be an Eved. Paro says, keep moving. Don't think. Think. Try to be Yishav have focus. And then the next week is Bishalach is leaving is the Kriyas Yamsuf. It's also breaking all the apparently impossible barriers. After you leave Mitzrayim, all opens up. Right? We left Bichi Pozan, it says. Rav Tzadok. So you went right out, quick, you jump out, go right out. You could go out. Sometimes you have to rush away from a negative behavior. You have to do something, make it happen. And then that's B'chinei B'shalach is the last day of Pesach. And then Yisro is Matan Torah. Yisro is the time when you can receive the Torah and get a special order of Torah. That's what the Chosno Blin says, and the Mukubalim say this, that the Parsha of the week that we lane, that's going to have a tremendous effect on what's happening with the Jewish people this week and what we can access this week. So these are the three parshas, the three big parshas. Hashem shall be zochet to leave Mitzrayim, to really get out, to really overcome this kina of time and covet, to try to chap. Like Rav Tzadok says, he says, you nullify these three, like Azov, like it says by Mitzvah, Azov is anova, is humility. You nullify these three types of gaiva, right, of the kina, time and covet, with the three things in the Mishnah, right? Me'ayin bata, from where do you come, gets rid of kina. How do you have jealousy of someone? You realize what he has to do with our shorish, has to do with my life mission, has to do with who I am. What's jealousy when you realize that? There's only positive jealousy. So try to, whatever I can, emulate in a positive way another person, but I have my own stuff because I have my own job. You have a car because you're supposed to be a car driver. I have a bike because I'm supposed to be a biker. It's not kashur. Two things. I don't need your car. Like you need a cab. I don't need you. It's really nice. It doesn't matter. Every person is different. Every person has his own mission. Right? Where are you going? that gets rid of the bechina already of taiva. How do you have taiva when you always listen? I'm here for a reason. I have a purpose. Like, where am I going? Like, I'm just such a prosder. I'm just in the hallway on the way to my real destination. If me, to the becheshbon, who are you going to give accounting to? That gets rid of the bechina of cover. What's your cover when you're going to talk to Hashem? What are you going to say? Like, what are you going to, you have to do what we can. You have to put out everything we can and try our best to connect to Hashem in every way possible. It's right. Mamash, get out. Being a place of lachem, not being a place of this like, deal with the taibas and focusing on the taibas and focusing on the negative philosophies knows what, and empowering the things that are within us that are not so good. That's really one of the messages of Rav Tzadok in the Parshas Bo and Rochel and Leah.